And that's such a beautiful opener for this idea to cultivate a prosperity mindset. So, dear listeners, now that you're feeling into this grounded yet heart coherent energy, we encourage you to pick up a note taking device because we would like to step into cultivating a prosperity mindset.
I love it. I love it. It's listening to what you were saying, and there was a gazillion tips that came to mind, and of course I didn't write them down as I was listening to you. It kept coming in and floating out. And I was going to unpick what cultivate means and prosperity and mindset. But after your words and the energy just then, I think it's really important to remind ourselves that I was going to say no size fits all, but actually that being grounded is a gift.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Welcome, dear listeners. Welcome, dear Deb.
Hi.
Hello, my dear. Here we are with another one of our deliciously motivated mindset conversations. And OMG, do we have a good episode today? I'm actually really looking forward to diving into this conversation. Tips to cultivate a prosperity mindset. And just before I hit record there, I just said that to Deb. I really like that word prosperity. There's an energy about it that just
It's a warm feeling, but it's actually oh yeah. It's not
yeah.
like dodgy. Oh yeah. But it's not a warm, fluffy feeling. It's like, yeah, I can feel it all over. If that's
Yes, they feel the expansion and the
yeah.
expansiveness of it. Talking
Yeah.
about expansiveness, we've been doing a wee bit of a different setup before we get into our conversations. We used to do our PEMS check-in, checking in physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And technically we are still doing that, but I'm doing it in a different way, in a slightly different flavor. I like to think of this as all of us, me and Deb, and all of our listeners, regardless of what time or day or where you're listening to this conversation, is that we're pulling ourselves, we're committing to ourselves, we're making a conscious decision to come into heart coherence. And there's another word that I really like, coherence.
I thought it was heart.
Heart. Well, that's a given that's a
Yeah.
so to do this, and this is why I'm saying is that you can actually be feeling into how are you feeling physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But I would like you to just feel your feet. Put your attention on your feet wherever they are, whether you're sitting or standing, and take a few deep breaths. Feel your feet and feel your seat. Feel if you're sitting down, just feel the support of whatever you're sitting or resting against. And take some really deep breaths, deepening your breath, really expanding your belly with that breath on the in-breath. And then inflating, deflating, bringing that in. And do a couple more. Just really feel your feet, feel your backside, feel yourself being anchored and supported by the earth beneath you, by Mother Earth. Good. And so now we're all bringing our awareness into this space and time. It doesn't matter if you're listening to the recording a week or so after we've recorded this, you still get to immerse yourself in this energy. And now that you're feeling in your body and grounded, I like to put my hands over my heart. You can do one hand or both hands. And as you continue with these deep breaths, deep breaths, imagine and intend that you're breathing in and out of your heart space, even though you can still feel your breath in your belly. Just have your chest expand and contract with that breath. And with your next breath, what I'd like you to do is envisage, pretend, intend that breath that's coming out of your heart space is lit up. It can be of any color that resonates for you. This light coming out of your heart space, and it's going to get further and further out and encircle the planet. So just get a sense of that, setting that intention. We're creating a matrix or a grid, a blanket of this beautiful intersecting energies of love and light and around the globe. Now breathe in and feel yourself nurtured and seen and acknowledged, and feel your heart expand and open, your own loving heart, bestowing that loving energy on you. And now breathe out again, animating that idea of this matrix or this blanket of intersecting cords, ribbons, beams, streams, of whatever color, of unconditional loving energy. And it's accessible there for all beings on this planet. And do one more. Breathe into your heart and breathe out. Now, anytime you need a wee top up, or you decide, I want to tap back into that sense of heart coherence, all you have to do is remember that intention. Remember that idea of these intersecting beams of light. Put your hand on your heart and breathe into it. And you can ask that energy for any comforting, uplifting, grounding, soothing, calming, balancing energy.
Throw me some love. Throw me some love.
Yes, it's always there. It's always there wherever and whenever you are. And it's as simple as that. That's coming into heart coherence. How do you feel? How do you feel when we do something like that?
For me personally, then I've got to jump into giving tips to cultivate a prosperity mindset. And I'm just
Yes.
like, la, 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 this feels so beautiful. Like, okay, and now back to Deborah's
And now
world.
back to our programmed event.
Yeah, that's the one. That's what it feels like. It does. It feels like a love blanket.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
a
that's the
love,
intention.
just a love blanket
Mhm.
with what you need
Yes.
right here, right now.
And I like to kind of really emphasize the fact that I can talk you through it, and I do that with you here on these episodes. I also do it on Insight Timer when I do live sessions there. But I always like to remind people that it's always there. You actually only ever have to do that visualization or the commitment to creating it once, and then it's always there. However, I know I need reminded of it. I need somebody talk me through it, or even myself to stop and go, oh, wait, yeah, it's there. So hand over your heart and breathe into it. That's
Yeah.
one of the fastest ways to get into heart coherence, regardless if you remembered this conversation, but just by literally putting your hand on your heart and taking a deep breath. You can say, I live here. I live from my heart. And that's such a beautiful opener for this idea to cultivate a prosperity mindset. So, dear listeners, now that you're feeling into this grounded yet heart coherent energy, we encourage you to pick up a note-taking device, because we would like to step into cultivating a prosperity mindset.
I love it. I love it. It's listening to what you were saying, and there was a gazillion tips that came to mind, and of course I didn't write them down as I was listening to you. It kept coming in and floating out. And I was going to unpick what cultivate means and prosperity and mindset. But after your words and the energy just then, I think it's really important to remind ourselves that I was going to say no size fits all, but actually that being grounded is a gift. And if you can be grounded in, and I say no size fits all, in whatever form, if that exercise that Moira's just said works for you, please do it. If
Yeah.
it means just standing outside in the grass and feeling the grass or the ground, like whatever it is for you to be grounded,
Yeah.
find a grounding exercise that fills your heart up.
Mhm.
And knowing today's one could work, tomorrow it might not work. Well,
No, and
Just-
I completely agree with you. That's why I think it's so important to have a plethora of them, right? Because what works and feels right and grounding right here, right now, depending on what's
your
going on
PEMS.
for you, yeah, what's going on for you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Maybe the next day you need something a little bit longer or more step by step, or right, or other times, like sometimes what I need to do to really do a fast one is to stamp my feet on the floor. Just stamp my feet a couple of times on the floor. Really beautiful way to kind of go, oh yeah, right, you're, I'm
Oh
right
yeah,
here.
okay, got that one. Yeah, well that's definitely grounding.
Yes. So you see,
Feeling the ground in a
grounding
different way.
allows us to feel into the fact that we are prosperous
Yeah,
when we
yeah.
stay present. And that actually, so
Well,
Deb's
that's
first
what I
tip was a grounding tip, but my next one is gratitude.
was
So because to me, once you get grounded, you can actually look around you and go, oh, I'm grateful for the space I'm in. I'm grateful for the clothes I've got on. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
this drink of water. I'm right. Right there starts to flow into prosperity mode also, right?
Yeah, and there's a gratitude surprise. I love that. I can't believe you got it in before me.
I did.
But what I will say is when you do ground yourself, and you do have that gratitude and appreciation for who you are, what you've done, what you haven't done,
Hmm.
this is where you can actually inspire others to discover their own.
Yeah. And that's to your
Because
point about no one size fits all concept. Hmm.
yeah, that's exactly it. And with this, if you want to change the world, because I all believe we all have a healer within us.
Hmm.
If you want to change the world in whatever that looks like, and also obviously have that prosperity mindset, it's about inspiring others. It's about lifting others up. I will say you can't drink from an empty cup, so you've got to fill your own cup first 100%. So I'm not
Yeah.
just saying put everyone before you, but if that's your vision and mission of actually helping people, or you say you're a people pleaser or whatever you want to call it, when you ground yourself and you're sitting in that gratitude space, that's where you can feel that ripple from other people,
Yeah.
or other people can feel your love, inspiration, graciousness, because it's all energy based anyway. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, to inspire others,
Yeah.
walk your talk.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that
And
sums it up.
to your point,
Can you sum me up?
well, so what I was thinking of is that I like to talk about self-care as the sacred self-care, because it is an essential commitment that all self-care items that I do, because I do walk my talk, and I know you do, that the reason why it's so important is to be of highest and best service to those I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
But I cannot do that if I let myself down on any of those pillars, right? So I have to have sacred self-care practices that I do consistently every single day for my physical well-being, my emotional well-being, my mental well-being, and my spiritual well-being.
Yeah.
And to that degree, and you've probably heard me say this before, is that we give from our saucer, because we have an overflowing cup. And so the importance of self-care cannot be over or underlined enough in my mind, because I don't know about you, but I was brought up to think of others first, to go look after this, do stuff for
100%.
your sister first, do stuff for this person first, for your parent or for those. And so therefore there's this little kickback that happens of like, oh, I'll get to my self-care later when I've taken care of all these items.
Yeah, I'll do everyone else, and then I'll sit down and take a breather. Well, you might not get that breather, love.
Right,
Like,
because that's going back
Yep.
to that oxygen mask analogy, right? That it is essential that you put the oxygen mask on you first. So again, this is going back to there is no one size fits all for sacred self-care. So to me, I think it's an important piece to constantly and consistently be doing research because our needs change as we evolve and change. Our needs
Yeah.
for self-care change. Don't you find that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we, yes, 100, yep, yes. Yes. I just want to say a little bit about the walk the talk because I was looking at getting a new mentor recently, and I talked to somebody and I said to them, and this is, this is about your social influence. Not, well, I was going to say not socially in a bar type thing, social influence, because that would have been my old day thinking. But your social influence being who you hang around with,
Yes.
That's friends, that's family, what podcast you listen to. Obviously, there's going to be an influence, everybody, because you're listening to an inspiring podcast. We know that. It's called
Yes.
Delicious
Top of the
Motivated
list.
Mindset.
Top of the list.
Yep, that's it. That's the one. But recently I said to the lady, I said, oh, and what internal work do you do? And she said, what do you mean? I said, oh, what's because she had a lot of strategies. So I was like, this is pretty impressive. She's got stuff and, this and this. And I could see all the glitter around her. I was like, yeah. My
Yeah.
head, I'm
Yeah.
trying to ground myself here. And I said, what internal work do you do? She goes, what do you mean? I said, the mindset. She goes, oh, I don't believe in that.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Oh, bye.
now
Bye.
you didn't see what Moira's reaction was. She jumped back in her chair like it was, and I was like, I said, pardon. Now, so for me, I'm thinking, how the heck can you mentor me if you don't
Yes.
believe in the internal work? Like, what the frick? I was like, and she, oh, I don't believe in that. And I was like, wow. So how do you think you've got ahead in life? She goes, oh, by putting the hard work in. I've worked all hours. I've done 18 days, and at that time I was like, there is no freaking way I want to be part of your world.
No.
Now, she may have every flippin' funnel slick,
Yeah.
worded,
Yeah.
all that, but it just literally, it revolted me. I'm going to be very that.
Totally, King. Totally.
And I just thought, how can you get through life without doing internal? I'm like, my God, I don't even know how you've got to this. So let's say I declined, and I actually finished the call pretty much within about 3 minutes after that, because I just went,
No,
I
not
can't even,
surprised.
my head went, I can't even be nice to her. I went into huge judgment, people. Shh. I didn't have my prosperity mindset went, I've got to cut her loose and I've got to cut her as quick as I can. That's
She
where
is
my
not
mind,
part of my prosperity mindset.
well, I'm thinking she's going to teach me how to do stuff, which is great. But if she doesn't believe in what I do, which is how I build my business around the mindset,
Yeah.
how the heck can you help me? And it was just really interesting about finding people. So your social influence has a large impact. And if you're looking to raise your influence, and when I say raise your influence, I don't mean you want to be a billionaire and millionaire, like anything like that. If you actually want to make people smile and feel great about themselves, that's raising the influence. So it doesn't, I'm not talking about the shebang, my arms are
No, but
winging.
what you're talking about is about reaching those you are here to serve, reaching
That's
those
right.
that resonate and are looking for what
Yeah.
it is you have to offer. Because you know what was come to my mind, and I made a wee note of this when you were doing that, because you did see my reaction of it's like people that work with me, they gotta have some form of that. And that's just like it's a no-brainer. Like
No,
you
it's well, I hadn't even thought about it. I literally
yeah.
hadn't. And then she said, "Oh, I don't do my." I said, "You're," and I sort of questioned a bit, and I went, "But, your social." But I was a bit dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But your social
Didn't
media.
have
She
the
goes, "Oh, I
words.
don't." He said, "Oh, I don't write that." She said, "Oh God, no, I wouldn't write that." And then I'm like, "Oh my God, oh my
Wow.
God,
Wow,
like
wow, wow.
no." And so that's why I literally to if I'm going to have a prosperity mindset, um I definitely would choose to. I believe in myself, but I
Mhm.
also believe in those around me. Now, if she's got to where she has without that, fantastic.
Yeah, hats
Well,
off to her. Not
that's
my
well
personal.
done. But yeah, definitely. And I just cut it very quickly. I just thought to myself, I don't even want to be this people pleaser who just smiles and lets her think she's got to. I don't. It's not my thing. If I'm going to do this, I'm only going to be. So I cut her and I let it go. I just let it go with grace and ease. I didn't really. I at the
Had a
time,
wee tantrum, obviously.
and I still haven't. I can clearly feel it in my body, like WTF? What the heck?
Yep, yep. But what
Um,
it made me realize is that what we're looking for is balance. And so
mm,
whatever balance
yes, of
means for
course.
you, right? So that's that we've talked about this before. It's the masculine and feminine balance within us.
Yeah,
It's the being and the doing. And so what you just described is she's got the hustle on the doing and then
she's
says,
got
"Oh no,
the.
I don't believe in the being."
But
I
even
uh,
yeah, even the oh, like it was a total disgust. Like, ooh, and I was like, whoa, 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 you obviously clearly haven't researched me.
yeah.
Like, because that's what I build my business on. I'm not gonna, yeah, it was just so please cut people off.
And
And
then
she,
on the flip side, because I've been working with somebody recently too, and she went and dug into everything that I've got, and she said, and she asked, like, don't worry about it because you might feel like you're being stalked, and she was digesting everything that I did
oh
because
my
she
God.
loved it. She totally resonated with everything that I had.
Yes.
And so it's like that to me, and that's to your point, is I'm not saying that everybody that works for me has to go through all of my mini courses or my
Yes.
funnels
But they have
and
to
such.
understand who you
But
are.
yes,
Totally.
yes, yeah. Because
Yeah.
because like you
Yeah.
said, this is about social influence and basically you're getting them to help you reach those who are called to work with you, to be
Yes.
served by you.
And I will say, if you're hanging around with people, I don't know how to say it, with low hanging fruit, if you're hanging around with people who drain you, drain your
Yeah,
soul,
yeah.
don't fill you up, you come away and you feel like the blood's been sucked out of you. If you're hanging around that stuff, get out because you're not going to get a prosperity mindset. You're going to get a negative Nancy and a Debbie Downer. And I say Debbie Downer and all the Nancys out there and the Debbies, thank you for
Sorry.
embracing that name. Yeah. And you're going to be a cranky Karen, all those names. But it's time for you to cut and let go.
Yeah,
And I did it very quickly. And I felt like afterwards I got up and shook it off. And I
right.
just felt so inspired about my life.
Good.
It was I just had this whole energy that came in like a lightning, just woke me up and went, oh, thank goodness you didn't do the people pleasing. Thank goodness you just cut, walked away. No, no,
That
no.
you're very
I
clear.
didn't
You're just very
justify.
clear. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was done. It was done. That was it. So
But
if you're
you
looking
can
at that,
access that by asking that question. I've often said before, how do I feel about myself here? So think about what
mm,
you just described. How do I feel about myself here? You jumped in disgust of like, oh my God.
I was lit. There was no filter on my face. And funnily enough, she actually had her head down.
Oh,
She had her head down when she told me, so she wasn't even looking at me. So then I just went, "Oh, thank goodness she didn't get my head. She didn't see my head
funny.
down. That's
That's
bad." And
kind
then
to me, that's funny, but not funny because it
well, I'm
actually
like, "Why are
proves
you?"
the point.
Exactly, exactly. But I was like, "Oh, first, I mean, I can handle most things. Like, don't get me wrong, I do the mindset work,
Mhm.
but for me, there was, and I was like, oh no, thank goodness she had her head down. She didn't see me pull a face. Like that would have been horrible for her. And then I was like, mate, I don't think nothing would have affected her if I'd said anything because she doesn't do the mindset work.
Well,
So
she
it's
doesn't
literally,
believe in it.
why are you even trying to say this, Deborah? So it was that whole, my internal dialogue was actually, and then I was like, just cut. No justification. I don't even need to apologize. I don't need to tell her why. It's just you're not the right person for me.
Yep.
End of. I don't need to give you feedback, darling. I'm about uplifting. Like any feedback I gave her, I think wouldn't have landed anyway. I have that feeling. But yeah, so
So
as we
prosperity mindset is very much to stay grounded, to stay in touch with your inspiration and your
Your
flow.
soul. Yeah.
Yes, your soul, definitely. And that's actually a really interesting point too. I think this is going to be a point all of on its own too, is to your point there, when a person does not fit your vibe, you don't owe any explanation. You don't
Oh.
have to get into telling a story or
Yeah,
anything.
that's actually a
It just,
great tip on it. So, yeah,
yeah,
yes, definitely, because you're right. You don't have to justify
yes.
or anything because you don't. And I mean, for me, if somebody cuts me, I don't need a reason because I already know the answer.
Mhm.
I can feel why they're not connecting with me, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm.
Like, and to me, it's not. It's the old. Here we go. The 4 agreements.
Mhm.
Don't take anything personally.
Yeah.
Although I did take it personally, and I'm thankful for it when she said that, because I did take it personally, because I was like, well, you're just pretty much my whole world has been based around mindset. So I am taking it personally, but it gave me the gift of cutting and walking away
Right.
anyway. But yeah,
But Deb, the work that you and I do through the positive intelligence paradigm
yeah,
is that we will take things personally. That's like what he talks about the you put your hand on the hot stove. You're still going to
yeah,
do it. You're still going to do it, right? Like, and then
yeah,
go, oh, that's hot. So you take your
yeah,
hand off. But that's what I'm saying is that you get that little jolt of taking something personally, and it's, oh, thank you. That alerted me to this isn't the right fit. This isn't the right environment. This isn't the right
yeah.
connection, right project, right?
And it
You know
was
what I
a
mean?
jolt. That was a jolt.
Yes,
Wasn't
yes.
even a smallest nudge of someone's putting their finger in the small of my back. It was like a what?
Bang.
Literally, Moira jumped back in her chair and her eyes
I
looked at
did.
me. I completely forgot to share that with you. Just remembered now. Yeah. Yeah, your reaction was like mine. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
um, yeah, but I love what you just said about the no excuse and the no justification. Because if you're
yeah.
going for the prosperity mindset, there are no apologies needed. There are no justification. It is your saucer.
Yes,
Drink from your saucer.
yes.
Yeah,
Or give from your saucer because your cup's
yeah,
overflowing
yeah,
because you've
yeah.
been. But you see, this is the other thing too. And maybe this is another tip about cultivating a prosperity mindset is that to allow yourself the acceptance and the confidence that prosperity flows all around you. And
Mm.
so your feeling of prosperity may be different to mine, but it's to acknowledge that beautiful, prosperous flow and have the confidence to claim what that is for you. What is your definition of it? Does that make
Well,
sense?
I actually just went, oh, I'm surprised I haven't even. That's at the start. I was
Yeah,
like,
you
what's
haven't looked at
I, it's because it's because we jumped into I just looked at the dictionary.
the
The
dictionary.
dictionary.
Mhm.
It's a condition of being successful or thriving. Es-
Ah,
And it says especially economic well-being, economic well-being. So the condition of being successful or thriving. So when you're prosperous, you're alive. It's your whole heart is full. You're inspired. That's
mhm.
that's yeah, that prosperity. You just feel filled up,
Yeah.
filled up. I didn't get my
Fold up.
filled up.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
not
filled up.
too good on the words. Or are you just making them up? It's okay.
I'll make them up as I go along. Come on.
Why
And
not?
it's not even early in New Zealand here. Yeah, filled up.
Yeah. But you see, like right there, because what feels luxurious and fulfilling
Mm,
is different for every one of us. We all have our own unique flavors and quirks and desires and preferences. And so that's why, and I love that you already brought the 4 agreements into the conversation, because it's so important to not make assumptions of, oh, a prosperous mindset or a prosperous way of being um,
has to
is
be right.
it has to be like that, or it has to be like my neighbor has, or my peers. And it's like, no, it needs to come from your heart. What lights your heart up, right?
Well, even just when you're saying that, that's that jealousy. If you're looking for if you're going to cultivate a prosperity mindset, let the jealousy go.
Mm-hmm.
100%. You can't be jealous of what people have or don't have or anything, because we have ours in our own way. But that's if you're looking to cultivate that prosperity mindset, the moment you get jealous, you can say something like, "How is this serving me?
Yeah.
How's this a benefit to me?" And when you get a couple of those things to go, okay, I can see that they've got a new car. I mean, I'm just going to say car because I can look outside the window and see my car that I'm trying to sell. How's it serving me that they've got a new car and I haven't? Well, actually, I'm not ready to sell my car. And just those handful of little benefits to you shifts that whole jealousy. Because when you're holding on to jealousy, it's just an ugly place to be.
Well, it
You
is,
want.
but it to me, it might be a little tap that on your shoulder that if you're experiencing jealousy, how could
Mhm.
you turn that into a celebration? Celebrate that they have something that you would like to have, and it's just not the right timing for you, or
Mhm.
it's on its way, right? So to me, because I love celebrating what others have or what their wins are or what they've achieved. I think that's a really important part, because if I'm sitting in a prosperity mindset, then I get to celebrate everybody else's flavor or version of prosperity because we all have it.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
Right?
I was literally just talking about that yesterday, and I said one of the things there's a lot of women, we say, "I'll fix your crown and adjust your crown as you
Right.
fix mine," and all that.
Yeah.
And I love that, but it's actually not just women who adjust crowns; it's men as well. And you can adjust someone's crown if you're a female to a male. So don't think it's not that. But when somebody gets something, how often do you go, "Oh my God, congratulations on that sale," or "Congratulations on that," instead of, "They've done it again. They've got that." Like, and it is that celebrate
Yeah.
because there is that they've done what they've done to get to where they are. Excuse me. Celebrate their success. It's prosperity mindset is filling your heart up.
It is. But the other thing that I just thought of when you were talking about celebrate versus jealousy is from a law of attraction perspective, if you're looking at somebody gaining something or achieving something or their win or their whatever it is, and you're looking at it with jealousy, that's a pretty negative vibe.
Dark.
And
Yeah.
so maybe the universe is just going to keep throwing things into your path that also make you jealous.
Gonna wake you up until
Yeah. As
yeah.
opposed to when you celebrate, that's such a uplifting, prosperous type of vibe that's what the law of attraction is going to interact with and kind of go, oh, you like that? How about this? Right? And so that's what I'm saying is that I think the more we can celebrate other people's wins and success and prosperity, the more we realize we're stepping into and surrounding ourselves with our own flavor of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. I I'm just looking at our notes going, it's not hard.
No.
I just have to, I don't know, I just have this whole thing that people are like, "Oh, it's too hard to do this," or "It's too hard." It's not hard. The key is to start. And
Yeah.
and I do say kiss, and Moira has a different version of kiss. But we'll go with Moira's today. And it's keep it simple, sweetheart.
Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Just
Yes.
start and keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yes.
Because if you've got that, and you can pivot, like we all know, pivot, but just start. If it doesn't feel right, change. And I love that Moira, as you know, mentioned it earlier. How does this make me feel about me right now?
Mhm.
Is this good for me? Is this good for others? Do I want to do it? Like these are the beautifulness that just start. No, it doesn't feel right. Let me just take a moment. Let me sit back and take a moment and look at the bigger picture. Or let me call upon Deb and Moira. Like
Yeah.
whatever that is. Let me just get myself out of where I'm thinking right now to take me over that hump. Whatever that is. But the key is to start and kiss it.
Kiss it.
Yeah,
And I
kiss
like
it.
that too, because clarity comes when we're actually taking a step. And
Absolutely.
that
Sorry, I just
step could
split up
be
there.
that step could just literally be writing down the things that you want to accomplish. It doesn't have to be I have to finish the whole project before I get the clarity. It's like, no.
Even the universe will provide. I say the universe will provide you if you get clear and specific about what you desire. Now, it could be your money, it could be your body, it could be your relationships, it could be your business, it could be what you want around you. It could be like anything,
Mhm. Mhm.
whatever that is for you. When you get clear and specific on it, the universe provides. If you're not clear, it just gives you anything to wake you up to get clear, basically. That's my firm belief. So when you're clear, things move, things just get out of your way.
Yeah.
And those when you're inspired and you're on a vision and purpose, all blocks just disperse. It's just like, okay, righto, out of the way. I've got to I can't deal with this little thing here because I've got something far greater to deal with that's going to serve humanity or whatever. Does that all make sense?
It does serve humanity, but always and because I can hear dialogues in the back of my mind from people saying, well, but I'm not here for that big of a uh,
Well,
purpose, or but
well,
serving
serving humanity is
humanity could be
even going to get
just
your nails done, smiling at
yes,
someone, saying hello.
yes, yeah,
Like that's,
because we
yeah,
are all connected, and it's just the smallest things actually ripples out for all of humanity. So there
yes.
is never a, oh, Deb's taking on these huge, big, grandiose
Yeah, serving humanity
classes,
can just
but
be smiling at somebody, letting somebody
precisely,
in the traffic.
yeah,
Like those little things make people's day.
yep,
Like, because if you're trying to get in, even that you can make someone's day by letting one car in. Now,
yeah,
if you're frustrated and angry and everything's not getting in your way, now's the time to let that car in because
yeah,
don't just go, no, I'm late. You're not coming in.
yeah, yeah, yep,
But those little things are significant.
they
They're
are.
not actually little.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because I just felt like sometimes people will well, they kind of talk badly about themselves and to themselves because, oh no, all I'm doing is this little thing, like you said, smiling at somebody or letting somebody in traffic. Or one of my favorite things, and it's actually something that I do a lot, is reaching things on the high shelf in the supermarket because I'm very
Oh, for
tall.
people.
It's
Oh, yeah.
like, yes, yep. The amount of
Yes.
times that actually did it happen just recently, it was quite funny. I turned down an aisle, and there's this woman was actually literally trying to climb up the shelves to reach something on the top. And I'm
Oh.
like, oh, can I help? I can help you. You don't have to climb up that shelf.
No, it's funny because you say that, and I love that because I was just yesterday in Sydney, and when I came I got into 3 lifts yesterday, and it
Mhm.
was funny. So I held the lift door open for everybody. You know, as I do, I come in the lift, I hold the door open. They come in, I hold the door open when we leave. It's just something I do. I
Mm.
don't even notice I do it. I
For the
just notice.
North American people, she's talking about an elevator.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I forget about that.
Just
Yes.
translating there for you.
You're probably like, what type of lift? Like a forklift or what? Yeah,
Yep,
an
yep.
elevator. And just the amount of people like, thank you so much. We
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you.
nice.
My husband usually does that. Or thank you. And and I didn't realize, and it was only when I got to my destination, I sat down and I went, wow, I was filled with so much love.
Hmm.
People without even noticing I was doing it because I just walk in, I hold the door, I wait for everyone to come in, and then I choose my floor. It's just It's just something I do naturally. I don't
Yeah,
think about it.
yeah.
But it was only after I sat and I thought about my day and what could I've changed or not, you know, I was unpacking it. And I went, wow, I impacted so many people today just by doing that people were even
Yeah.
saying. And my complications, the universe just, I'm going to say Jesus and walking on the water. It felt like the water, just bring that in. It felt
The
like the
water
water just
parted.
parted. It did. It just felt like all my obstacles dispersed. You know, I was definitely inspired about my day and there was things going on, but just, I felt I got rewarded, but not rewarded. It just
Just acknowledged, maybe.
flowed. Yeah,
Acknowledged.
flowed.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I know we're wrapping up, but I'm sure Moira's got one more tip. By the way, we weren't wrapping up. That was me saying to Moira, shoot, we're wrapping up, by the way.
Oh.
But it is, and those, I want to go back to that small stuff. They're not small. So serving humanity is in whatever form, but you do get a flow
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any last tip before we wrap up, by the way? By the way, we're wrapping up.
I got that. My last
Okay.
piece that I just thought of was trust. Because
Oh,
and I like, how did we get this far into the conversation with that one coming in?
yeah.
So trust that I've said this before, anything you're looking for is looking for you too. And so cultivating a prosperity mindset is it really is about trusting the flow, trusting that even if you don't know the exact next right step, that you do something and the clarity will come, and that you trust that you will recognize the chances and the opportunities and the ways forward. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how did we get
Oh.
that far? How did we get that far? I didn't even know I looked at the clock and went, what? What? How did we disappear again? How did that go? So let's wrap up, people. In a condensed version, we're going to sum up our podcast very quickly-ish. So if you didn't grab your
Quickly-ish.
note-taking device, yeah, ish. Do you like the way I say ish? If you didn't grab your note-taking device, grab it now. Quick, people, quick, unless you're driving. And that's okay. Don't for that instance.
No, you can pause and come back to this.
Yeah, that's it. But we're gonna share our tips to cultivate a prosperity mindset. One, I'm just going to start with my one that I had, actually it was Moira's one, is that live in your heart and remind yourself that's where you live. Hand on heart, and yeah, just that's it. That's just, I'm forever holding my heart. Just remind yourself that it's where you live, because that living in your heart makes a big difference between living in your head.
Absolutely. And that helps you get grounded, right? That
Yeah.
when I live in my heart, I can actually get grounded. And so we talked
I
about
think
that.
ground yourself as one complete tip, because that went on a massive tangent, which was beautiful, and there was a gazillion
Actually,
tips
yes,
I
no,
took
you're
out of
right.
that.
You're right. Because that's when we talked about so by being grounded is to have a plethora. I like that word too, by the way. A plethora of tips of different grounding techniques. So it can just be simply feeling your feet on the floor or stamping your feet. I like doing that one every so often. Or feeling your tailbone and your seat on the chair you're sitting in. Or because hand on your heart is a nice way to do it also, but it's to do something tactile, something, and you often talk about this, stepping outside into the garden or going for a walk outside or leaning up against a tree or standing by the ocean, something I do often. But these things, because that helps you stay present to what is right here, right now. And there's a lot of prosperity right here, right now. Right.
And when Moira says allows it's that presence. It's that actually we're present with ourselves, we're present with the wind, we're present with the noise outside when you're present. And you don't have to go and, like, it's another form of meditation. You can just take a moment to pause.
Yeah.
And that's it. Yeah. The next tip I had was gratitude.
Gratitude practice.
Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. That could be writing a journal. It could just be saying what you're thankful for. It could be when every time you have a drink of water, sip that water and think of one thing you're thankful for or two things you're thankful for. But be grateful for what you have and for what you don't have.
Mhm.
Because that gratitude is the quickest form of a release in my mind.
Mhm.
And if you're looking to cultivate that prosperity mind, clearly you are because you're listening to the podcast. But if you are looking to do that, then gratitude is a massive key factor for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that the next tip I wrote down on the heels of that grounding and gratitude was to inspire others to find their best way, because that's when we talked about there is no one size fits all. So it's about very much about not comparing yourself to other people, but by all means ask them, what is your favorite grounding technique or your favorite gratitude practice, and try it and see, does it resonate? And maybe you need to tweak it and shape it and try different things and put little other ingredients into it, right?
And I love that tweak it, shape it, because let's say the color purple or red or gold.
That's our logo colors.
If you didn't notice, there's different shades of it. There's different
Yes.
shades of
Good
purple.
point. That's a
There's
nice way of
different
doing that. Yeah.
shades of red.
Mhm.
So you may not get the deep red. You want the brighter red, or you
Mhm.
want the
The sort
matte.
of,
Sorry,
yeah.
I was actually meant to say purple. I just heard myself say red. That's interesting. I was going purple. I'm looking. Yeah. That's interesting.
It's all red.
Yeah, it's all red. It's like my eye at the moment. But when in my nose, I'll just talk about that. Keep off that. Tangent, Deborah. But it is that there are different shades. So knowing that you may not suit dark purple, but you
Mhm.
may suit light purple.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is that one side fits all.
Yeah.
And what I loved was one of the tips we had is when you're inspired, you can actually help others.
Yeah.
Is you can actually have others help others with what it is.
Yep.
I think these are all in a completely odd order. Sacred self-care.
Yep. Fill your cup first.
Yeah, fill your cup. It's the oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
When you're flying, it's those things. And you give from your saucer, not
you
the
give
cup.
from
which
it.
is the
Exactly.
overflow.
Exactly.
I really love that. But when we talk about sacred self-care, I talk about a glitter bomb, whatever lights you up.
Mhm.
But when we talk about that, one size doesn't fit all, have a stack of ideas there.
Yeah.
So you don't have to think when it's called upon quickly, because often when chaos hits, you can't think clearly until you can ground yourself
Right.
again.
Yes. If
Yeah.
you're feeling discombobulated, you're not going to remember the tips. But if you have a stack of post-it notes or something, you can grab one.
Yeah.
The next one from that, talking about sacred self-care, was to remember to walk your talk and to be genuine, right? To be real, to show up, because that's what this world needs, is for all of us to step up and show our authentic nature, our unique gifts, because that actually is the theme or the thread of each one of our life purpose, is to show up, is to know who you are, to recognize who you are, and to show and share your gifts, your talents.
Yeah.
So walking your talk is such an important piece. Find what lights you up and share more of that.
Yeah. And walking your talk was me giving the example
Yes.
of that mentor. That's no longer my world. So I'm back to tagging that one was about your social influence. Look at, if you're looking to have a cultivate that mindset, look at your social influence. Now I'm not saying look down on people and go, they don't have enough money and they're over what, like don't, none of that stuff, but just go, does it feel right to be with them? Do they light me up? Do I feel like I've lost all my mojo? Does it feel like a leech is coming and sucked in my blood and I don't want to be there? We're coming up to Christmas, people. There's going to be a lot of that stuff. So be aware of that social influence, because and cut them off with grace and ease.
Mhm.
Cut them off with grace and ease so that you can go back and fill your heart up with what's important to you.
Definitely. And that's what we talked about in this conversation. We talked about using that question, one of my favorite questions. How do I feel about myself here?
Mm.
So how do I feel about myself having this as a mentor, or having this as an idea, or having somebody talk about me in this social environment in this way?
Mm.
How do I feel about myself here? And
Yeah.
that because we want to find ourselves in harmony and balance and feel like we're in that rhythm of that beautiful prosperity
Yeah.
mindset, right?
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally.
Hmm.
I wrote down in touch with your soul. I have no idea what I wrote. I don't know what but I wrote in touch with your soul, ...
Dot,
So
dot. Well, maybe that came from asking that question. How do I feel
I
about
was
myself
thinking,
here? In touch with my soul.
I think that's it. So if you're looking to cultivate a prosperity mindset, when you're in touch with your soul, you don't question.
Right.
I think I don't know what we talked about before about that, but
It could be because the tip that I had written down here was that to saying you don't have to justify or explain.
that's the next one. Yeah, so there's somewhere
Right.
entangled. Yeah.
So somewhere in that. Yeah. So because when we are confidently cultivating a prosperity mindset, you don't, if something's not a fit for you, it's not a fit.
Mm.
That's it. You don't have to justify or explain or just, get
At end of done.
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 It's not
Yeah.
working. Doesn't work for me.
Yeah. And it's ugly when someone gives you an excuse or justification, and you're
Yeah.
like, and especially if they're lying and you know.
They'd be like,
Yeah.
Kate, okay, it's okay. We'll finish this call. Bye.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I wrote down the next one I had was 4 agreements.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We talked, I think the only one I talked about was don't take anything personally. But the 4 agreements, and I'm going to ask Moira because I'm not at home, and so I don't have them on me, and I'm not going to Google them. And Moira can quote them straight off in order, everything. So the 4 agreements are so vital to your everyday world, and they are, over to you, Moira.
Be impeccable with your word. And this, because I did talk about the assumptions one. So be impeccable with your word. That's internally as well as externally. That's also the thoughts that are in your head. Be impeccable with your word. Such an important part. And that actually really does foster a beautiful prosperity mindset when you are being impeccable with your word.
Yeah.
The next one is don't take things personally. The next one is don't make assumptions. And the last one is always do your best. So they're very simple statements. They're very, very powerful. And you can just choose one. Okay, just for today, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. And
I
then
think that's it. Just choose one today. Just one. Just
just
one.
for
And
today.
today I'm choosing to play this card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful way. And the more you can bring that into your everyday existence, the more you will see and feel prosperity,
Yeah.
success, thriving. Oh, because that is the next thing is you looked up the definition.
Prosperity.
Yeah.
And the definition, I'm going to go straight back to it. The definition, the condition of being successful or thriving. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. The next tip I had here was to celebrate. Celebrate because this is when you were talking about feeling jealous, and I was saying, can you turn that around to celebrate? So rather than thinking, oh, why they've got that, or look at they achieved this, and celebrate what others have and their success. And that's when you were talking about adjusting another's crown. I really like that idea. Like, yes, let's all be royal. Prosperity creates all our royalnesses.
Moira's crown would be purple.
Of course it
Or
would.
have purple stones all over it.
Of course it would.
Mine would be gold with
And
red
yours would be
stones.
gorgeous with ruby reds.
And glitter.
And glitter.
Yes.
Definitely.
I love that we celebrate and celebrate your losses as well. throw that in if you feel it's a loss, because when you celebrate it, it's actually not a loss after all.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
these are the gifts that come our way, 100% to cultivate that prosperity mindset. Yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know what I've got, because I've got 4 words and I've got ... So hey, we'll go with this. This is fill your heart up ... So I'm just going to say, be inspired, fill your heart up, do what you love, stay on track. And that's definitely, I don't know what I talked about before, but that's definitely, if it was me or you, but that's definitely a way to cultivate that prosperity mindset when you're
Most
doing
definitely.
what you love.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. The one that I have next is one that you actually said, it's not hard. The key is to start. And so that's
Yes.
when we talked about pivot and we talked about KISS. Keep it
Yes.
simple, sweetheart. Right. So, and that's like right on the heels of that, that's when I had said that clarity comes when we're in action, right? So even if we just take the tiniest baby step, keeping
That's
things
it.
super simple,
Yeah.
clarity comes. Then I go, this is how I feel about myself when I'm doing this.
Oh,
So
now
now
I
I
know.
can take this next bite.
Yeah.
And it does start to feel like thriving and a success, and your energy shifts, right?
100%, yes. And I did have that tip down.
Oh, good.
And flowing from that was, I talked about serving humanity. When you
Yes.
have a purpose that's greater than your own. Now and Moira graciously said, we're not talking about going out and, Deborah's doing all this, amazing
Global
thing.
travel.
Yeah, this global travel and doing all this. Serving humanity is letting somebody in the traffic.
Yeah.
Serving humanity is smiling at somebody. Serving humanity is saying thank you to the wait staff who are, as we're coming into Christmas, who are probably under incredible pressure. Sales staff, like, just serve humanity in what way you can.
Yeah.
Because for goodness sake, it's a fulfilling place. For goodness sake, we all need it, definitely, but it's a fulfilling place to be.
Yeah. Or getting, that's when I talked about getting the things off the high shelf for the shoppers that couldn't reach them. Serving
I
humanity.
know. Yes.
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 Well, the last one I have here was trust. To trust prosperity is here. And also trust that what you're looking for is looking for you. And so even if you can't see it right sitting on your lap, it's still vibrationally or energetically here. You just have to trust that then, okay, and now I just need to take the next baby step, and it will all coalesce and take form as it's going to.
I love how you said anything you're looking for is looking for you. And I think that's something that we forget.
Yeah.
That we forget.
Well, that actually helps us get more into that balance of the being and doing, because when we forget it, we tend to think, oh, I have to do it and have to keep pushing forward and hustle and find it and be logical and work it out. And maybe you don't. Maybe you just need to cast your net out and then say,
and just be.
It's just gonna go plop into my net.
Yeah, totally. But if you're in a frustrated space, you won't have any of that stuff.
No.
And the last one I'm going to have is, I'm going to add another one in here, is Moira and I are here.
Yes.
Moira and I are here doing these conversations for you.
Yeah.
For you, there might be tips in here you like today, there might be tips you didn't like, but we are here. Please, I'm going to say use us. Please connect. No, don't use us. Please connect with us, because this lights us up to help people in whatever way we can.
Yeah.
And we are
This is
here.
us serving humanity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
hadn't thought about that. Yeah. Of course it is, Deborah. But we're here with our gazillion years experience. We are here for you.
Yeah.
We are here for you. We share our knowledge, we share our tips, we share our stories, we share our frustrations, but we are here for you. So in wrapping up, some beautiful tips here, some amazing tips, amazing tips. Going back to whatever one fills you up, just start. Go back to that KISS. feel that feeling, and it will, going back to that, and just ensure that you're grounded
Mhm.
and centered and poised through life. And when chaos hits, it is gonna throw you back and take you back. But it's that trust of knowing that you are still moving forward.
Yeah.
Don't feel that you're coming back.
Yeah.
And your heart is connected. Keep connecting back to your heart, because that's the greatest tool to cultivate that prosperity mindset.
Well said. I completely agree.
Yeah. So if you liked it, I'm gonna suggest to you, if you like this, the next step is to let us know what tip you're going to do today. Now, I know sometimes on Spotify you can't do that, so we have a Facebook group. You can jump in there and you can put your comments in there. Let us know. But if you don't want to do that, that's okay. So then I'm going to give you another step, and that is share this podcast with somebody.
Yeah.
Share this podcast with someone and open that conversation with them. Open
Yeah.
that conversation and say, what one did you like? What one didn't you like? What one resonated with you? What one are we going to do together? Find that accountability partner, because this is the most beautiful experience you can if you're going to cultivate that prosperity mindset. So there's some golden nuggets here all through this.
Mhm.
So I'm going to thank Moira. Clearly, thank you, Moira.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for jumping
Deb.
back and talked about my conversation. We'll do it. Thank you for remembering the notes that we had. And thank you, Internet. Thank you, Deborah, for coming on today with your words. Sometimes didn't make sense. But also thank
Making
you.
some up too. I liked it.
Yeah. We'll make up some discombobulated was actually, I thought, was a Moira word that she made up, and
Yeah,
realized
she
it was actually
did.
a real word. It
It's
was a
real.
real word. I was like, what? But also thank you, listeners, for taking the time, taking an hour out of your day to listen to our conversation today. Now it's about putting it into practice. So I
Definitely.
thank everybody for being part of this. And that's the deliciously motivated mindset conversation, signing off on tips to cultivate a prosperity mindset.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. We'll be back for our next one next week. Bye.
Yes, good. Bye.
Bye.